All right, people, we back. Let's do it. We here. We're here with my dude Rashidi from RKT Appraisals in the building. So what's going on, man? What's good?
Not much, man. Another day, another dollar, man. Another day, another dollar.
I feel you. So today, guys, we talking about the difference between poverty and middle class. Is there even a difference now? Is it like what's the situation with that?
Yeah, man. I mean, I want to talk about it, man, because a lot of people say I'm poor, I'm in the poverty level. You know what I mean? This person's living better than me. But a lot of times people don't really put it in perspective of what it means to be poor, what it means to be on the poverty level. And are you really living differently or living worse than middle class? So I want to throw a couple numbers out there. For the most part, you're considered to be under poverty level if you have a family, if you're making around $27,000 a year or under $32,000, and you're considered lower middle class from $32,000 to $53,000 a year as far as a family. So let that sit for a minute. That's not much of a difference.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
So the reason why I bring these stuff up, man, a lot of times people are in their own head as far as why they're struggling, are they struggling, how much they're struggling, I can't afford this, I can't do that. But the reality of the situation is a person that is considered under poverty level, honestly, probably in a lot of cases, not all cases, let me not say a lot of cases, but in half the cases, probably living as good as life as a person in lower middle class or better. The reason why is that is if you're considered under poverty, you get approved for a lot of the programs, food stamps, welfare, a lot of government programs that help pays bills and things of that nature. So it's one of those things where I'm not saying one's better than the other, but a lot of times you compare our lives. But I wanted to bring it up because that's kind of crazy to me to think that, if you're under that mark and say you have a family of 2 or 3 kids, you might get $500 a month for groceries given to you. Right. You know what I mean? And the person that's just making literally, $5,000-$6,000 more than you a year has to pay that out-of-pocket expense themselves.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's why I like to bring it up, because you got to really understand. I want people to really understand there's different levels to everything. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like a 2-part series I want to kind of go over. But yeah, man, that's what it is. I want to really go over that and really show that, hey, you're not doing as bad as you think you might be doing bad. Yeah. If you're getting assistance with that, you also get sometimes in those type of situations, depending on what type of job you got, you might get, state health insurance as well, which is a tremendous savings. So like I said, in those situations, sometimes you're actually living a lot better. Plus there's programs where they may help you with, vouchers and things of that nature for housing, for living, whether it's things like Section 8 or, or just vouchers assistance for low-income living, where you're paying significantly less. Imagine you're in that same situation where you only make 26, but your rent's only $500 a month. So when you look at somebody that's living in, considered just a little bit more money than you, that's considered lower middle class, it's like, wait a minute though, like you're actually not living as bad as you think you're living. All it is that this person that's lower middle class may just handle money a little bit better, generally speaking, and it appears that they have nicer things, but it's all an illusion.
Right.
So you're saying that the poverty level, if you're like, you got a family, is what, 28,000 a year, something like that?
The range is from 26,000 to under 32,000. You're considered poverty level.
Wow. And so that's if you got like a wife and kids or some shit like that.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. And so above that would be middle class. So middle class is from what range to what range?
So lower middle class. Lower middle class is from $32,000 to $53,000 a year.
Wow, that's crazy. So there's a lot of people that's like lower middle class out here in these situations, and a lot of people that's in
poverty.
Yeah, because I'm like, how do you even? Okay, because you're saying food stamps and stuff like that. So if you're lower middle class and you're making, well, let's say you're making the least, the 28,000, right? Mm-hmm. That breaks down to how much a month? If you divide that by 12, how much is that? That's like,
let me grab a calculator.
How the fuck? Hold on, wait. I gotta break this calculator out. So let's say you got 28,000 divided by 12. So that's $2,333,000. That's before taxes.
Exactly.
Jesus Christ. And so imagine the rent is what? Like, let's say they paying what? Like $1,200 for rent. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they got a little over $1,000 to last for the month. You know what I'm saying? So that's fucking groceries. That's fucking traveling, and that's for the family. That's not just for that one person. Damn, that's crazy. Like I like, wow. I don't understand how people like. How do you logistically survive off that? So you got to get like a lot of benefits and shit from like, you got to get, like you said, the food stamps. You got to wear hand-me-down clothes, all that other crazy shit.
Yeah, it's a famous quote out there that someone said. You know, and I always thought about this in my head, and it's funny, people don't really believe it. This person said on his post, "I'd rather either be rich or dirt poor."
Right.
And somebody had responded to the post like, "You're ignorant." And I was like, no, he's not ignorant. Like, because if you're under, the equivalency is that if you're under poverty level and you can live on all these programs, you're technically living just as good as life as a middle class person. Actually, probably better than a middle class person. Because think about it logically. If you're making under that 32K amount and you got a voucher that help pays your rent, you know what I mean? Like your rent might only be $500 a month.
Right.
And then you got food covered because you got kids, and you can say you get like $350, $500 a month for food. You don't have to worry about the food costs.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then on top of that, they have all kinds of programs. So like all kinds of programs, helping you with your lights. And these programs exist for everybody, but it mainly gets approved for people under a certain income and things of that nature. Then you add all the stuff going on with the pandemic where they cut you breaks with a lot of programs.
Right.
So that person that's making poverty level, if they play their cards right, of course, the other half is playing their cards a lot right. Because think about it. That's why we're talking about this topic. Because mentally, if you feel like, oh, I'm so poor, I don't got nothing, I'm impoverished, you're not going to even think to take advantage of half those programs. The other half do take advantage of those programs and milk it. But the point is, though, if you actually sit down and take advantage of those programs, you're good to go. And think about it even further. It goes so deep. That person that makes that type of money, if their kids is going off to college, they get approved for the maximum amount for financial aid.
Right.
You know what I mean? So there's outs for people in that situation. Whereas a lower middle class person, you get cut off at a certain point. You know what I mean? If in your state that threshold is 38K and you make 39,000, they treat you the same way. Like, now you don't get approved for nothing. You don't get approved for nothing. It's all on your own. So technically, you can be living worse than the person that technically is supposed to be living worse than you.
Right. That's crazy. Hold on, Anton, you said there's no sound? Hold on. Nah, that's your computer, bro. You got
yeah.
I'm like, wait a second. I'm like, hold on. You know what I mean?
Antoine might be below the poverty line.
That's messed up. Shout out to Anton. We just
joking. Niggas could support video. Niggas could watch video, but they ain't got enough money for audio. That's some shit.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Man.
Nah, I'm playing.
but it's crazy. Like, so look, imagine you are okay. So what is it where, or what because like if you're in the middle class, right, or lower middle class, so you won't get the same benefits as the below the poverty line, right? So you don't get none of those benefits. Right. And why is that? Why do you think that is?
Oh, it's just straight math and straight numbers. That's literally all it is. What it is that somebody ran some system, the government came with a system mathematically to show that statistics show that a person making $32,000 and above just makes better decisions financially overall. So because that person makes better decisions financially, now they're trusted a little bit more, and they may not need the government help. But they show that number right below that $32,000. They're probably saying, hey, this person handles money horribly, and they're going to further mess up the economy. So I'm going to help them build up themselves to get to a certain level because they really need the help. And it's that simple, and drawing a line in the sand, because literally someone can be off by making extra 500 and get treated completely differently versus the person that makes that $500 less. That's the threshold.
Wow,
that's crazy. Man, so the thing is, if a person is, below the poverty line and they got kids and the family and all that other shit, like, do you think a lot of people, and I'm not sure if you know any of this, but, or in your opinion, do you think a lot of those people, they were below the poverty line before they started the wife, kids, and all of that? Or was that something that kind of happened just like after the fact? Like, you know what I'm saying? Or they didn't realize that it was going to be an issue? Because if I'm only making a certain amount, I'm thinking, I can't afford no damn wife and kids. I can't afford no damn family. I can't afford none of that shit. So it's kind of like, do people just put themselves in there? You know what I'm saying? In that situation, do you think? Or is it just kind of like,
No, so for the most part, no, most people don't put themselves in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
See, what happens is that you're already in that poverty level. Because if you think about it on a deep level, most of these people are like, like, not most of these people, let me not say that. I mean, people in general, you might be 17, 18, 19, 20, and you're making $10, $12 an hour, and you don't have any bills. So what then happens now is you don't have any real responsibility. You don't really know what it takes to survive in the real world. So imagine if you're 20 years old, you're making $12 an hour, you don't even really know what poverty is. That concept doesn't apply to you because you're probably living at home anyway. Right. And you don't have certain bills. Then you add a 19, 20-year-old, 10, 20-year-old dude or woman that has a child. Now you have a child. Now you're forced to face some real reality on how things cost. Right. And then now you quickly realize, like, hey, damn, I got a kid and only make $12 an hour. How am I afford this? I can't afford this. And then you either become that person who you continue to struggle even more in poverty and don't take advantage of those programs, or probably most likely, if depending on your neighborhood, that these programs exist. And it's like, oh, well, such and such told me, oh, I could get this program, I could get approved for this, and you get approved for it. And then what happens is, from a mental standpoint, think about it. If you're 20 years old, you can't afford enough, but you get approved for all these programs and stamps and all this, then you're going to stay stuck in that zone because you never experienced real bills and real things you got to pay for. So you get stuck in this cycle. You know what I mean? And that's why when you look at it, a lot of times people that's under poverty is certain demographics, and it's in certain areas like projects and things of that nature. Because if everybody's never developed as an adult, if a high portion of people is not developed as an adult, how can you ever know how it really works in the real world? And you'll never get to that level. Right. You know what I mean? And so, but no, most people don't put themselves in that situation. What does happen, though, is that because we know these programs exist and things of that nature, the people that get that information, they may run with it and be like, yo, I could cheat the system and use all this to my benefit. And those are the people that you see where, not to be stereotypical, but you might be in a supermarket where you see somebody using an EBT card, but they got a wad of cash in their hand. You know what I mean? Like, so those are the people that will use the system. But honestly, no, for the most part, nobody puts themselves in that situation. It's just a vicious cycle. Once you get in there, you're probably not going to get out unless you get educated the proper way on how to get out, and or use the system the way it's designed to be used to get you out. Because the truth is, these systems are designed to have you being a functioning member in society. Think about it. If you're that poor and you get approved for these programs, they're supplementing some of those things where you don't have to worry about a food bill. You don't have to worry about this. So once you get nutrition, eat the right way, whatever, you're going to grow the right way and think the right way. You're going to be able, your kids going to be able to pay attention in school because they fed right, things of that nature. So the government takes you there. And then when that kid goes to college, they get approved for financial aid. So technically at that point in time, the cycle is supposed to stop. Right. You know what I mean? But let's be real. The cycle doesn't stop a lot of time for a lot of people in that particular situation. And not saying college is the right way to go and you have to go that, but I'm just saying that's the difference, because that same middle class person, they don't necessarily get approved for financial aid, depending on how much money they make, and or if one of their parents even went to some college, they don't get approved for financial aid. So that means somebody taking out a loan for $30,000 versus person A on the poverty level, they don't have to pay for nothing for education. And if they do it the right way, they can mess around and have a 4-year degree without no student loan debts, compared to the middle class person, which we know the average is like $80,000 worth of school debt. Wow, you know what I'm
saying? I literally just paid off my school loans this afternoon. You feel me? So, shout out to me. You feel me? So, that shit is crazy. But so if a person's single, does that change the definition now? Because let's say that person is making $1,000 just with themselves, but versus a family. So they're not below the poverty line if they're making 30,000, but they're just by themselves, right?
So technically, in that situation, they're kind of teetering on that borderline type of situation,
right?
You know what I mean? Like where they can be considered poverty, cannot be considered poverty. So
Right.
like that particular person, where if you're making 26,000, that's still not a lot of money because we just did the math. It was $2,300. So
right,
you're still technically, I guess not say poor, but you still technically don't have a lot of money.
right.
So that person would still get approved for these programs. They just get approved for a lesser amount because it's a sliding scale. So that person in particular, they might only get like an extra $100 a month towards food stamps. You know what I mean? So at that point now, like it's still helping. You know what I mean? So it's just a sliding scale. So you're still in poverty, but you're just less impoverished. You know what I mean? You fall into a different range.
Damn, that's crazy. And it's crazy because I think about it nowadays. I'm like, is it maybe it's like it could be also definitely a mindset thing, but also just like an ignorance thing or just not knowing certain things, because I'm like, I feel like nowadays in 2021 going on 2022, I feel like there's so many ways to like not only make money, but like make quick money to where like it ain't nothing that you got to be rich or whatever. But I feel like everyone can make an extra like freaking, G a month or 2 G's a month. Like a nigga could just go do Uber or some shit, you know what I'm saying? Or like somebody could do some Amazon fucking sales or links. Or it's all these things that I feel like somebody could jump on and next week got like $500 in a bank account based off of the thing. So do you think it's like a mindset thing that people was going to stay in the poverty situation, or is it just like still hard for motherfuckers to get out of it? You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, no. This is real, man. This goes deep, man. This is systematic, and it's a mindset thing.
Right.
This is literally systematic, though. Like once you get into the system, you know what I mean. Like it's hard getting out of it. It's just like someone that unfortunately, if they go to jail, they're more likely to go back to jail. Like you know what I mean. Like so, systematic is not something where where it's just straight ignorance. It's systematic because I mean everything is programmed and done for you these days. It's actually getting worse if you think about it, though. Like I mean, as easy as it is to hustle and do these other things, that opportunities we didn't have when we were younger, this generation, everything is made so simple for people that you don't even think about it. Like I gave an example on one of the last shows. My Comcast remote doesn't even want me to press the buttons. Like, you know what I mean? I could talk into the speaker and tell them to change it to HBO.
Right.
Like, that's how lazy the mind is getting trained. So it's one of those things where if you're in this particular system, you can easily be trapped forever. You know what I mean?
Right.
And not know any better. But that's why then it becomes a thing of who's around you. And for your own self, that individual, are you resilient enough to want more for yourself? You know what I mean? And what is more, though? Because, I mean, let's be honest, though. Like, if you're living an okay life without having to worry about certain things, do you really want more for yourself? You know what I mean? Like, it's a tough thing, man.
Some people are probably going to be like, they get so used to the lifestyle they live in, even if they are, on the poverty line. It's like, well, I got my some food stamps here or whatever. I got this shit popping. So everything that I need taken care of is basically taken care of. And then so a person might be like, why am I going to try to work more for what? You understand what I'm saying? Because like at the end of the day, they're like, look, I'm just trying to chill and watch Netflix and just kick it. You know what I'm saying? So they're like, fuck it. You know what I mean? But it's and because they have so many things set up, that probably, entices them more to not be motivated to actually make something happen. Because I feel like more now than ever, back in the day, I feel like there was more of a hustle with people. You understand what I'm saying? Versus now, like people still hustle now because, we got the tools, but I feel like the people who hustle now were probably the people who were hustling before, and they're just using the tools now to hustle even more. And the people who aren't hustling, right, they just kind of, it's still the same thing. Because they're like, damn, you got all these tools out here for you to use and you ain't using it. You know what I mean? It's just like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I'm like, it's not like a thing where shit can happen overnight for everybody, but it's like, it's crazy where there's so many things that you could jump into to where you could up the money. But like you said, it's like, people get comfortable and then it is what it is. But we got what Ruben said, is quitting a job a good idea for peace of mind? I mean, I guess
How you gonna have peace of mind if you ain't got no goddamn money? Like, what the fuck?
So Ruben, I mean, so that's the thing. So we're not telling you to quit a job, though. That's not what we're saying. What I will tell you though, quitting your job. Well, you can't quit your job. So no. To answer your question, if you quit your job, you're not going to get unemployment. You know what I mean? You got to get fired from your job or terminated to actually get unemployment. So no, you never want to just quit your job because they're not going to hand it to you. You know what I mean?
So you got to go in see your boss and slap him in the face so he can fire you. Don't do it.
I mean, if you're saying that your side hustle or your passion or whatever you're trying to do as far as your own business, if that's starting to make money and you need to quit your job for a peace of mind, maybe. But just quitting your job just to quit your job, like, bruh.
Because you're gonna be in more trouble later. They're like, what the fuck? I can't pay nothing because I ain't got shit popping, bro. Like, what are you talking about?
Exactly. You know what I mean? So nah. Definitely just quitting your job is not a good idea. What it is that if you so happen to be in this particular system, you know what I mean? You need to use it to your advantage. So if you lost your job in that particular situation, you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, but you'll get unemployment. And because you're getting unemployment, it naturally qualifies you for a lot of these programs that we were just talking about. But, by you quitting your job, you're admitting to these programs that you did this to yourself. So based off what you tell them, they will deny you in certain situations. Right. So the only way in quitting your job is if you know how to navigate these people's systems. By just quitting, don't get me wrong, you'll still get approved for certain things, but you're making it that much harder on yourself and creating more red flags for yourself to get approved for these particular systems.
Right. And if you quit your job, you got to at least have some money saved up for at least 6 months to a year, hopefully, and then have a plan. You know what I'm saying? Because that's going to be a whole nother set of problems that you're going to get shit popping. You know what I'm saying? So don't do that shit. But yeah, so like if a person, so you saying, so what's upper middle class? What's the price range for that? You know what I'm saying?
So upper middle class is, about 55K to that 75K range. You know what I mean? A year. You know what I mean? Like, so that's middle class, should I say? You know what I mean? So you got lower class, middle class, and then upper middle class.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that next level is that 55 to 75 range. That's the range where if you truly do budget yourself properly, you're still gonna be broke. You know what I mean? You're still gonna live paycheck to paycheck. You know what I mean? Let's not give no illusions here though. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
you're still poor.
Exactly.
If you make 100K, you're still poor. You're done.
Exactly. Even when you make that, because this is the thing. Once you go past 80K, you get taxed differently, so you get taxed more. So that's why it's all a game. A lot of people see things and think like, oh, this person's living it up, but that person that's making 100K, they're getting taxed way more than you getting taxed. Right. So it's crazy.
That's why you got to get on your credit card game. Go to Arcade. You know what I'm saying? That's like, it's basically like, listen, everybody's broke except for Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, and all them niggas. You know what I'm saying?
Elon Musk.
Exactly. All of y'all rest of y'all is broke boys. You feel me? Like, goddamn. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm messing with a guy. Like, the thing is though, as much as you joking, like that's the real truth though. So that's why when a lot of times when I see people with posts and like, oh yeah, I want somebody rich, I want to date a sugar daddy and shit. Right. Like that's fake. That's nobody's really balling out of control like that. What is it? It's like 3% of people that's considered wealthy. Those are the people, like you said, like Bezos, where they're untouchable. They're never gonna go broke. But everybody else, like rich is nothing. Right. Think about it. An athlete could get a $50 million contract and be broke 2 years later. Right. You know what I mean? Rich, you can lose your money very quickly. So that's why, like with this podcast, it's just really understanding that, like, the person you're looking at that has nice things, is it really that nice? How did they get those things? Can they afford those things? You know what I mean? Are they really doing that much better than you? Because that very same person, if we're comparing, being honest, that person that's under the poverty line might have like $1,000 in their account on the low, and another person that's supposedly doing good might have negative $56 in their account. That's the world we live in. It's all illusions, man.
Yo, do you if you told Jeff Bezos you make $26,000 a year, you think he might have a heart attack? He might think you lying. He's like, what the fuck? Like, That's crazy. Could you imagine telling Jeff Bezos you make 26,000? Like he probably think you lying. He's like, nobody makes 20. You know, he's like, I mean,
he's like, if you said Jeff Bezos, he'd be like, hold on 1 second.
Right.
I just made $26,000. Like
that's
now. like he'll take a breath. He'd be like, okay, that's another $50,000 right there. Like, what the fuck? Ruben Traby says, what about quitting his job to do Uber and study for something better? See, there's a lot of things you got to think about. And look, this is not necessarily financial advice, although if you do hit up RKT appraisals, they could actually get you financial advice. You know what I'm saying? The Lucario are not financial advisors. The only one closest thing to that is Rashidi. But we do this podcast so we could give guys stuff to think about concerning money. You understand? There's certain things that we know that we've been through dealing with money that you need to think about when you're thinking about money and what to do next as far as, you know, your job and shit like. So what I want to say to Ruben is that, you see, you have to look at how much your job is paying. You also have to look at how much time you're putting into your job, because I've done Uber, and if I did it where I did it like maybe 3 to 4 times a week, and I was making like, I'd say $250 to $300 a week. You understand what I'm saying? So I was making enough money to pay my bills and still live okay. I was still making enough money to live decent. You understand what I'm saying? Although I still had others, like little bit of income coming in from other things as well. So Ruben, you have to look at your life and say to yourself, well, how much is my job paying? And how much do I have to invest to do Uber? Because a lot of people don't realize you when you do Uber, remember, you're using your personal car.
Mm-hmm.
You have to put gas in your car.
Right.
And then after a while, you got to change the oil. You got to put brakes. Your tires run down. You got to get new tires. A decent tire is $150 per tire.
Right.
So you're looking at $600 just to buy new tires alone.
Right.
You understand? Plus a decent oil change is like a good $70, and you got to do that every 2 to 3 months, depending on how much you drive. Mm-hmm. And you got to keep gas in your car. Gas is high right now. Gas is everywhere on average is like $3.50 or better for gas. You understand what I'm saying? So it's things you got to look at, bro. You can't just. It's not about just, should I quit up this and peace of mind? And fuck a peace of mind, nigga. You a man. There is no peace of mind.
Right.
only women and children can have peace of mind. If you a dude out here, you got to always be producing. Period. Right. You understand? Right. You know, but on a side note, still pay attention to your mental health seriously. But other than that, ain't no places of comfort for a man out here, bro.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So you have to look at all of those things and ask yourself, well, what is my job paying me? And if you want to study to do something better, you might be better off keeping your job and just making better time management decisions.
Right.
When you're off your job or when you're on your lunch break or whatever the hell it is, use that time to study for whatever it is you're trying to do. And if you work during the day, take night classes. And if you work during the night, take day classes. Manage your time back, because look, what you have to understand that even in business, y'all look at these lawyers and a lawyer probably get paid $600 an hour. You like, damn, that's a lot of fucking money. But listen, when you're stuck in the rat race of trading time for money, there's always a cap.
Exactly.
It's only 24 hours in a day. So if I'm making $600 an hour, understand that I can only make so much money a day.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? And I gotta sleep, I gotta eat, I gotta shit, gotta wash my ass, gotta spend time with my family. You get what I'm saying? So a lot of times we look at money, but we don't realize all the things that go into it. You understand? So don't come on it. Ruben, don't run around out here. Go to your boss and be like, yo, Mr. Lucario told me to quit my job. So fuck you, nigga. You can take this job and shove it. I'm gonna go do Uber. Nah, no. Because remember, even with Uber, there's only certain number of rides that you could do per day.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No. Just based on the fact that there's only 24 hours in a day.
Okay, I thought you meant like they have a limit on the amount of rides you can do. Okay,
No, there's no cap. No, there's no cap on the amount of rides that you could do in a day. However, there's still only 24 hours in a day.
Right, and plus you get tired, so you'd be like, "Fuck all this shit." You know what I'm saying?
And I don't know what city you live in, Ruben, right? But check this: in New York City, you can't do Uber unless you have a TLC license. And those things cost a hell of a lot of money. You got to have anybody who lives in New York, you see any one of them, you see a lot of cars in the city with a T in the beginning before the number.
Right, exactly.
Those cars you do Uber, you have to go get a TLC license before you could actually do Uber in New York City. And check this out. The time when I was doing Uber, I was living in Jersey City. I was living in New Jersey. So I was able to do Uber. But check this shit out. Because I lived in Jersey, if somebody wanted to get a ride from Jersey over to New York, check out what I had to do. I had to drive, and the app is automatic. It knows everything. It knows that I'm registered in Jersey and all that. So check this out. If they wanted to go to JFK, I had to drive from Jersey all the way to JFK in Queens, New York. And I couldn't pick up a ride until I got all the way back to Jersey.
That's crazy.
So I'm wasting gas and wear and tear on my car to get back to Jersey to pick up another ride.
Right. That's crazy.
And there were days that I had multiple rides back and forth to New York. So I'm only getting half the money that I should be getting, and I'm putting more wear and tear and wasting more gas on my fucking car.
Right.
And you don't and check this out. You don't know what the next ride is. You can't choose. So if they put in the app that, I need to go to this location, you can't just cancel the ride automatically just because you don't want to drive to that area. Right. Usually you're blind until the person sits in your car and tells you where they have to go. So you're at the behest of wherever that person want to go. So if they want to go all the way up to one time I drove a bitch to all the way up to Poughkeepsie or some shit.
Wow.
Poughkeepsie is like damn near up New York. It's like the highest. It's like upstate New York. And mind you, again, because it's in New York, I had to drive all the way back to Jersey.
Wait, when you do the Uber and I call your car, it doesn't tell you my address till I sit in the car?
No, it doesn't necessarily tell you your destination address until you sit down and it don't tell you.
Oh wow, I thought it shows you once I call your car. Like if I say I'm trying to go here, it'll give you a message saying this person wants to be driven to wherever. No,
you see the thing is sometimes it tells you if the user puts it in, but not all users put it in. That's what I'm saying.
Crazy. Wow, I didn't know that.
Put it in, but at the same time, you don't always have the luxury of canceling a ride either. So even if you know where they're going and you don't want to go there, depending on the situation, like in busy rush hour times, you can't cancel a ride and shit like that. At least when I was doing it, they may have changed the rules. You understand? But there was one time I picked up a chick and I had to drive all the way to fucking Poughkeepsie because she wanted to go to some mall.
Right.
It was an hour drive, my nigga.
Wow. So either way, it's kind of like what you're saying is this shit you got to know about all of the extra shit that you got to do. You feel me?
The shit you got to know. That's why I made my little speech before I said it, because a lot of I might say something. What Miles know about Uber? Nigga, I did Uber for a whole fucking year.
Right. That's crazy.
I did it because I got fired.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I was collecting unemployment and I was doing Uber. You feel me?
Right.
Niggas, I want y'all niggas to understand that I don't talk about nothing that I've never experienced. I don't come on here to lie to y'all niggas. I don't come on here to poison the minds of my brothers. I come on here to let you know. And again, I'm not saying I'm a financial expert, but there's things you need to think about before you make these changing decisions, bro, when it comes to money.
Right. That's crazy. Man, so Rashida, anything else you want to say to wrap up as far as like poverty line, middle class, all that other stuff?
Yeah, I mean, to wrap it up, I would just say people just need to mentally put yourself in a space and really evaluate your situation and understand your situation before you assume, you're living better or worse than somebody else, at the end of the day. I think that's just what it is, just being more mindful. You know what I mean? Like looking at your situation and try to get better. And also just understanding your situation, understand where you're at, understand what you can afford, understand what you need to do next to go to another level. You know what I mean? Just overall understanding the situation. Like you guys said before, we live in an age where everything's at your fingertips at Google. You can look everything up. You can type any question in. You're gonna get an answer. You might get a few wrong answers, but the right answer's out there. But the point is, you're gonna get the answer. So that's my advice for everybody else.
That's what's up. That's what's up. All right, people. So listen, man, we appreciate y'all tuning in. Make sure you guys go to rktappraisals.com. Hit up my dude Rashidi and get that shit cracking. And we will see y'all guys next week. All right. So we out of here. Peace. Remember, the truth is inside you. We out.